Pete is not going to like this one. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, James Gunn's last film directing a Guardians movie. Did he send it off with a bang? Yes, he did. And first off, I'd just like to personally thank you, James Gunn, for what you did for the Guardians franchise. You brought in characters that not a lot of people, including myself, were not familiar with in Marvel, and you made them some of the most beloved characters in the whole MCU. So first off, thank you. Let's dive in, talk about it, and be warned, everybody, we are in spoiler territory. So here's your spoiler warning. Now let's go ahead and dive into the film. Alright, starting off, I want everybody to know this movie is different from the past two Guardians movies you've had. Yes, they still incorporate music into it. Yes, it's still a funny, feel-good style Guardians movie in parts of the movie. However, very early on, you are met with sadness, somber moods, and it's like this throughout the whole movie. Starts off with Rocket walking around nowhere. Peter Quill's drunk, still upset about Gamora's death, still upset that the Gamora that they brought from the past and him aren't together, so he's dealing with that. How's he dealing with it? Drunk binges, just having to get carried around. Nebula's trying to talk him out of it. But as this is happening, the Sovereigns send Adam Warlock to go and retrieve Rocket. This whole movie basically centered around Rocket and Rocket's story leading up to this point. Adam Warlock gets in a fight with all the Guardians, attacks Rocket. Rocket looks like he's gonna die, and this is the start of the movie. Right then and there, I'm already fighting tears back in this movie, folks, because the promotional material, like the posters leading up to this movie, were all based on Rocket. And if you were reading between the lines, listening to interviews with the characters, you had a feeling that somebody in this movie was gonna die. And it felt like it was gonna be Rocket, and I was about sobbing almost, fighting back at the tears, because Rocket is my favorite Guardian member besides Drax. And for them to do this at the beginning of the movie, I was like, there's absolutely no way they're going to kill him off in the beginning. No, they don't. So the rest of the plot, Peter Quill and the rest of the Guardians got to try to find a way to save their friend Rocket. The one thing I really enjoyed from this movie as well is the character development. This is probably the best character development we've had probably in Marvel as a whole, in my opinion. They didn't just focus on Peter Quill's story in this movie like they have in the last two, which was awesome. Every member of the Guardians kind of had their own character building moment, especially Rocket, and it was done beautifully. Rocket's story is so sad. All the animals that are being experimented on. This is the reason why I said Pete is not going to like this film. There is some hard scenes to get through in this movie. And parents, I just want you all to know, with the action that was in here with these scenes, this is not a film I recommend bringing your child to. This is dark stuff. I mean, there is some dark, twisted action in this movie. Limbs being shown, being broken. And the scenes where Rocket's in the cage being experimented on from the main villain in this movie, they were tough to get through. Especially the scenes where all of his little friends die when Rocket's trying to let them loose. That was very tough. I was tearing up at that point. When animals get hurt or get killed in movies, everybody chokes up, and this was very hard to get through. With the character development, I just want to say thank goodness we had Dave Bautista as Drax. Drax's humor in this movie was perfect for the most part in breaking up the tension in the somber feel to most of these really dark, haunting scenes. Drax is awesome. He's become one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Bautista's done so well, and just the quick, quippy, just very blunt sentences that Drax says in the movie, they are hilarious. Drax even has his own moments in the movie where he becomes a father to a bunch of children that were enslaved by the main villain, and Drax's backstory with losing his daughter and his wife. Like, he gets to really shine and show another side to him instead of being the destroyer. And it was done very well. Villain in this movie, I don't know what the actor's name is, so I apologize for that. But he does very well. He was actually in Peacemaker. He was one of the aliens trying to help John Cena out in Peacemaker and how to stop the aliens that were going through. Did a very good job. He's very creepy, but he does it in a way where it's not like over the top comical. You understand his motives for what he's trying to do, trying to build, the perfect society. Did very well. Scenes with him are very intense with Rocket. Like, he did a great job. He's a phenomenal actor, so kudos to them for that. This is one of the better Marvel villains we got. Years past, we've always complained about, well, the Marvel villains, they kind of suck. Not the case here. This is one of the better ones throughout the MCU. One problem I do have with this film, we finally got an introduction to Adam Warlock, and they kind of missed the ball with this one, if you ask me. We've been teased Adam Warlock every Guardians movie, and they finally brought him in. I'm sorry, the person that plays Adam Warlock, I'm not a fan of him. Again, don't know the name. I'm horrible at remembering names, but he was in We're the Millers, and I'm sorry, the only thing I can picture this actor in is that role in We're the Millers. I was waiting for a spider to bite this dude in the testicles. Like, that's all I can picture. And the way they did Adam Warlock, he was kind of comic relief. Didn't like his motives, and the whole storyline with the Sovereign was just kind of on the back burner. It wasn't a key piece. Like, you would think Adam Warlock would have been more monumental, but since Thanos is now gone, like, there's no real place for Adam Warlock to be around. So I'm guessing he's gonna be introduced in future films, maybe a TV series or something, but wasn't a fan. I think they dropped the ball on that. I think they waited too long to finally bring him into the universe. The action sequences in this movie, though, phenomenal. Some of my favorite action sequences we've had in a Guardians movie. They're gritty, they're planned out. The music they chose Beastie Boys as one of the songs for one of the main climactic fights, and that's also, I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan. Loved it. No Sleep Till Brooklyn, still can hear it playing right now. Gets you pumped up. Action sequences are great. And then, like, there's a few sequences where I thought Rocket was gonna die. No, they switch it up on you. You start thinking, like, maybe through the movie, like, hey, maybe Drax is gonna die. Maybe Peter Quill's gonna die. The last scene with Peter Quill, that was rough. I thought for sure, like, I was like, oh, so this is who they're gonna kill off. No, they didn't. I'm very happy to say, spoiler, big one, nobody dies. Thankfully, they do a beautiful send-off with the whole Guardians crew that I really enjoyed, and I thought was really well done. Again, this Guardians movie was done very well. A very good conclusion to the trilogy. Thank you, James Gunn, again. I don't know if this is my favorite Guardians movie. I think I still like number one the best, but it's a toss-up between this and 2. Which one I like more? I think I'm leaning 3 a little bit more. I mean, the actors, like, all the cast that is in the Guardians, like, this is a big Mantis and Drax show for a lot of the movie, and they've played off each other so well. Mantis was awesome. I really like what they did with her character development. The action sequences were great. The dialogue between Peter and Gamora, like Peter trying to get Gamora to kind of feel the way she did before she got, splat for the Soul Stone, done very well. And just overall, the way the movie shifted tones, because Guardians was always just so goofy, like an over-the-top goofy, and this one just brings it back down, like, into completely almost different style of film, done very well. And it does a great job of tugging at the heartstrings, folks. If you're fighting to cry from the beginning of the movie to multiple sections throughout the movie, film did a good job at creating an atmosphere. I was going to give this movie originally an 8, but the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm thinking about it. I really, really enjoyed this film. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10. This is by far, in my opinion, the best Marvel movie we got in this phase. I've actually been quite upset at this phase of Marvel movies. Like, I just feel like they are just pumping out quantity and sacrificing quality for quantity, and I've been very bummed out. I haven't felt the way I felt about the first few phases of Marvel. Now, this movie kind of got it back on track. I'm excited to see where the future goes. It's a great movie. Go ahead, go see it. Make sure to leave the kids at home at this one, or send them with a nanny or somebody to go watch Super Mario Brothers. Because, let me tell you folks, dark is the theme of this movie. Thank you all for tuning in to Coda's Cove. I appreciate all the support you've been giving the Cove. Hey, be a friend, tell a friend to come join the Cove, because the water's fine, baby. Comment below and let me know what you thought of the movie. And as always, stay tuned for more content.